Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freaks with a Z, the podcast all about movies. Each episode is about a specific movie, and we'll get to this episode's movie in a second. But first, I always got to invite the listener, you the listener, to get involved with the fan vote, which happens during Tay's episode. If you want to suggest a movie for that, just send us an email at ff.filmfreakswithaz at the end at gmail.com, or comment on the latest episode of Film Freaks on YouTube, or come to the Discord and talk in the movie stuff or the Film Freaks section and say, hey, I would like to recommend this movie for the vote. 4 movies are up for grabs, and then we all vote on them. You probably know the drill by now. You'll probably skip this section, honestly, if you're a long-time listener. Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves before we introduce the movie. I am Yemmy O'Connell, and I'm here with...
Brady the Mummy.
I don't know. I don't have anything. Sorry.
I don't have anything either. Ray of positivity.
Oh, good.
Emotep of positivity.
Oh, that would have been a good
That would
one.
have been a good one.
And
This movie's the opposite of positivity.
That is.
it has a happy ending. What are you talking about?
Sure, I guess.
Well, anyway, how's everyone doing today?
A lot better than yesterday and the day before that, so we'll take it.
Doing
all
well.
right.
Finally warming up over here.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So, Tay, did the mummy, since you live in Nevada, did it bring you some nice Nevada vibes with its desert experience?
No, this is the Sahara is very. I think Sahara. I don't remember. It's very different than the desert here.
All right.
We got a lot of like shrub oak and whatnot. They're just like sand dunes. Nothing but sand dunes.
Well, all right. I guess I won't make my joke.
Yeah, no, it totally reminded me of Nevada.
Were you eaten by any sand faces?
Oh,
How about some scarabs?
Well, I'm here, so no.
All right, well.
Sorry.
Let's talk about The Mummy from 1999. The story goes that an English librarian named Evelyn becomes interested in starting an archaeological dig in Hamunapatra.
Yep.
She gains the help of Rick O'Connell after saving him from hanging. Her brother Jonathan and Rick and Evelyn are all unaware that there's another group of explorers who are also interested in the same dig site, led by the one and only what that guy's name? Benny.
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 And the group kind of converge and awaken Emotep, the mummy. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Spoilers.
Well, that happens like the first 30 minutes. So the place that I feel like everyone starts with this movie is it has a heavy reliance on late 90s CG, which, as you may have seen, does not hold up too well. Obviously, when I saw this movie when I was a kid, it was like, whoa, like, oh my god. Nowadays, it's like, it's just kind of funny. There are certain scenes where they put the CG mummy face into a robe or something like that, and it just looks ridiculous. Or any time that Emotep opens his mouth to release the locust swarm or whatever, it's just kind of yeah. I wish they didn't rely on the CG so much, because the rest of this movie, when there are practical effects, is really good in that aspect. They got some great set pieces, and they got some good, the whole Egyptian scenes and stuff like that. They got all that stuff is nailed down and good, and even the fire on the boat or the guns or whatever is all good. They even have a Emotep mummy dummy inside the sarcophagus when they initially open it up, and the CG dummy is different from the one that they made up. That was a special effect, not a special, a prop. So it's like that was the first that was like the one thing that I think everyone notices is that, like, once you get like to that part where Imhotep awakens and he turns, he starts to walk around as like this dilapidated mummy, decaying mummy kind of character. That's when it's like, I mean, I can see where the vision is. Like, I can see it, but it's just not coming together because this is so dated. It's so.
Hey, they were excited back
Unorthodox.
then. They were like, "Look what we
Yeah.
can do."
Oh, they were excited because every scene was a CGI fest after that first 30 minutes.
Well, I did notice also, like, nowadays we have really good face tracking and stuff, and like when they tried to do the whole like his cheek was like he was mostly back, but his one cheek was like decomposed. Like you could see that just kind of sliding around on his face.
Yeah.
Especially while he was talking.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they tried.
You tried
Aw.
so hard. Yeah, it was one of those things where it's just like, because I think I would have enjoyed this movie a lot more if the CG wasn't so aged, or if they had used more practical stuff to
Yeah.
kind of make it more alive than just like computer generated at times.
Yeah,
I mean,
they didn't
there's some
didn't take me
scenes
out
that
of it.
are done well for sure, but a lot of it is it takes away from the movie, I think.
I mean, for me, like, it's a '90s movie, barely, but still is, and I'm just like, yeah, that's how it is. It's fine. It doesn't. I don't like think bad of it, because of it.
I feel like there's got to be a moment where they're trying to incorporate all these high tech, graphic technology, CGI technology, and it's like, well, it's not really coming together. Like, what? This doesn't look nearly as good as it. I mean, maybe on like a VHS version of this movie with scan lines and all that, maybe it does look impressive. Like, still looks good. But watching it in like, I think I watched like the
High def,
HD
yeah.
high def version on
Yep.
Amazon or whatever. Like, yeah, or Hulu. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it aged so poorly, and I think it does take away from the movie because that they could have done practical stuff so much better. Like those armored mummy troops at the end. I feel like they could have done something different. Like maybe not. Maybe puppetry probably would have been a bit obtuse, but. I mean, they could have done something like they did with like C-3PO in like the Phantom Menace or something like that, where it's like a skeleton that seems like that has something inside of it. But
Yeah.
I digress. It's still a fun movie either way. Like it's not like the CGI ruins the entire experience. It just kind of like ages it to the extreme.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. I mean, before going into this, the only experience that I've had with this movie is the Mummy roller coaster.
Oh,
in
hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
in California. Yeah, for one, didn't know it was a coaster. My sister was like, "Oh yeah, it's just like one of those 4D things," and I was like, "Oh okay." And we get in the front row, and they're telling me to take my glasses off, and I was like, "Becca, why are they telling me to take my glasses off?" And going 60 miles an hour backwards, it was traumatizing for someone that hates roller coasters. So I thought that this movie was going to be frightening, and I thought it was going to be a thriller, and then they're cracking jokes within the first 2 minutes. I was like, oh,
And Ray's
this
heart
kinda
rate
movie.
slowed down.
it did. I was like, my palms stopped sweating. It was, but it was a fun movie. I think like one of my favorite parts is in the beginning when he's almost hanged, and they're like, famous last words. He's like, yeah, don't do it. And the guy's like, oh, so do we do it? And he's like, yes.
Hey,
Well, that was pretty-
who
that
else
was
saw
pretty
Brendan
classic.
Fraser as Tarzan in that scene?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
With
yes.
the long hair and he got the
Yeah, one thing-
muscular body. That was
Yep.
Tarzan to the extreme.
One thing that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit. It's just like I love Brendan Fraser and all that. He is a great actor. Nothing against him, and he fits this role pretty well, but he doesn't at the same time. Like he didn't fit the theme of everybody else. He just seemed like yeah, I'm an American guy. Here I am. It's just like everything else. It's like ancient and all this and all that is just like, and then you're like, oh, there's Brendan Fraser, all beautiful and hot. It just seemed like he didn't fit, like the theme and like the
I mean, everyone's
Aisle.
got two.
yeah. But she didn't like stick out. I don't know. Brendan Fraser stuck out, just like just
Seems like a
Like-
man at a time.
yeah. Yes, thank you. That's better.
Yeah, I think
But
I don't know
I mean,
if
he
I
did
have-
great. His acting's great. Nothing against that. It just he seemed like he just didn't fit the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree
Fine with it,
fully. I mean, like maybe it's because we've just seen so many other movies with Brendan Fraser, and you just kind of see Brendan Fraser, and you're like, oh, hey, that's that handsome man. It was George of the Jungle, not Tarzan, by the way. I apologize about that. But obviously this time, like Brendan Fraser was launching his career pretty much. Like this was like the peak of his career. So like we've seen like Encino Man. We watched that on Film Freaks back in like episode 10 or whatever, and we've seen a bunch of other performances from him, and you just kind of see Brendan Fraser sometimes, and maybe that's what's causing some issue because when he appeared on screen, I was like, oh, it's George of the Jungle, it's Brendan Fraser, and throughout the whole movie, he just kind of acts like you would think Brendan Fraser would act throughout the entire thing. So maybe that's what's maybe causing some issue there.
Like air quotes like clean throughout the movie. It's just like he never had dirt on him. Like I know he had dirt on him occasionally, but it's like you should be a lot dirtier than you are.
Some mummy guts on him.
Yeah,
some mummy dust.
Something like some kind of dirt, but it's just like he's fresh and clean every scene. I'm like, dang.
He was like kind of sweaty, but not like sweaty enough. Not like Egypt sweaty.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, I know I'm doing this movie in the desert, but I gotta be clean.
Yeah, he was a bit dolled up for this one. They definitely were trying
Maybe
to
that's what,
sell his
like,
action
what,
figures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that point. He did seem very pristine and mint condition throughout pretty much the entire movie, minus like the scene where they crashed the plane, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's fair.
he kept his clean composure, his stunning
Nice and
looks.
squeaky.
Right. But yeah, he's like a charismatic like character in this. Like even though I don't agree with him forcibly kissing Evelyn at the beginning, he definitely was a very because he wasn't like a lot of people obviously would compare this to Indiana Jones, and they are two separate characters. Like even though Indiana Jones gives his quips here and there, he is very much like, I'm an archaeologist. This belongs at a museum, right? Whereas Brendan Fraser in The Mummy as Rick O'Connell is like, I'm here to just kind of like get the gold and get the girl and fight some mummies and kick their ass and then leave.
Definitely. He like he's like, yeah, I mean the action's all like cool and stuff, but like I just want to be rich right now.
Yeah, I don't want to die and I want the gold. That's it.
Exactly.
I never really felt like he wanted the gold necessarily.
I guess that
he
was
just
more
worked-
Benny's thing.
Yeah, that was Benny's. His was just more like, hey, this chick got me out of being hanged, so I will do her a solid and take her to this place. I mean, when they get back, he almost, he immediately tries to leave, but then at that point, where she's like, no, and he's like, oh, but I like you. Aw, dang it.
Oh, whoopsie doopsie.
Now I gotta stay and protect you.
Shucks.
Aw, shucks. Exactly.
Well, then maybe he was there just for the adventure after all.
Yeah.
If I can dual wield these revolvers every other scene, I'm in.
Yeah. But he was there for the war in the beginning, so.
Wait, he was like American soldier
Yeah, he
who
was
joined the French consulate or whatever they were called, conscripted army, whatever you want to call them, and the battle just took place there on accident. Like they were fighting against I think the Turks or the Ottoman Empire there. So no one at the battle scene knew what they were like, quote unquote, guarding. They just were kind of there because like, hey, it's a fortification. It's a place we can fortify and maybe fight back or defend. And you know, obviously it turned like he discovers the statue and like the sand starts to swirl. He kind of like awakens Imhotep a little bit, like he nudges him awake a little bit, and then
Yeah.
you know, he runs away. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why he was there. Is like this French Legion just kind of like randomly was there, and I guess the people who were the guardians of the tomb were just like, we'll let him stay. We'll let him. We'll let him, you know, die on our behalf for a little bit.
Yeah, the desert's gonna kill him. It's fine.
Well, guess what? The desert never killed him.
Right?
Not much happened. I thought like a whole desert scene was gonna happen, and nope.
You telling me that the giant dust wall, the sand wall, wasn't anything happening in the desert?
No, just when Brendan Fraser, like, you know, you would always see in movies like when it's like, oh, the desert will kill him. Then you'll see him struggling through the desert and
yeah,
survive.
like crawling through the desert. You know?
Yeah, and somehow survive, and you're like, oh, okay. Like how he survived. We don't know how he survived.
Yeah, I don't mind the time jump, so we don't have to see.
Yeah, I don't
that.
either.
Yeah, no, I
that's
don't
kinda
mind.
It
overplayed.
would
Yeah, I don't
have
mind
been
it
pointless,
either.
you know.
I like the reveal that it's like, oh, he did live.
Well, I mean,
we knew
he's
he
the,
was.
He's the first guy on
yeah.
the poster. I don't think he's dying in
yeah.
the first scene.
Yeah, no, we knew he was gonna live. But
Nope. The next scene, he was his beautiful, handsome self again.
Well, not exactly. I mean, he was chained up and about to be hanged.
Well, he's still beautiful, handsome.
True.
yeah, you're beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
That was great.
Well, thanks.
So I think I'm unique on the podcast as I have played the Mummy PS1 video game.
Ayo.
And if you wanted to know, it's very much like Tomb Raider coded, but I actually liked it better than the original Tomb Raiders. So, you know,
Nice.
cancel me in the comments. I streamed it a long time ago, and I do remember it being like, it was a bit tough at the end, so you kind of had to do like this unlimited lives cheat to get through the ending. But it doesn't even follow really the story of the movie at all. It's one of those kind of tie-in movies where it's like, all right, you're shooting scarabs and you're shooting mummies and like snakes and you're riding logs through an underground Egyptian canal system and you're jumping between these large like everything was inside of like the temple, and it's like I don't remember it being this big. Like when I was playing the game, I'm like I don't remember the temple having like an underwater like river or underground river or whatever and all this stuff. But it was fun though. I definitely would recommend it if you have the ability to play it.
All right, good to know.
Very
There
nice.
was also fire traps as well. That was a killer.
There was fire traps. I want to say in the second movie.
Well, isn't that
Yeah.
the Scorpion King one?
Well, no. So there was the Mummy. The Mummy Returns, the Scorpion King, and then I found out there actually was a third actual Mummy
Yeah.
movie
Well,
with
yeah.
Brendan Fraser.
They go to like China or whatever.
Yeah, they go to China, and it's a different actress who plays Evelyn.
No one will know.
So yeah, no one will know. The actress that got is blonde. I don't know if they dyed her hair for the movie.
Probably.
I hope so, because otherwise, yes, it would be very noticeable.
There was also apparently like a animated series, maybe like a season or two of that.
Yeah. I remember the animated series. It wasn't good.
That's too bad. Yeah, I mean, we think obviously CG is bad in this one, but like nothing compares to The Rock as the Scorpion King, like entire CG body, like soulless, fucking half scorpion, half man.
So I've found out they actually finished that, like they had to rush it so much they finished it like 6 days before the movie released.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
And I actually after I finished this movie I had time, so I was like, yeah, I'll watch the second one.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
It's pretty good. It's still pretty good. I mean, it has an annoying kid in it.
Their kid,
And-
right? Evelyn and Rick's.
Yeah. So they have a kid, which is funny. They forgot that there was a time skip in this movie, in the first movie. Because, like, yeah, you see him at the French battle, and then it's like 3 years later, and then the movie takes place 8 years after the French battle.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
They forgot there was a 3-year time skip in the first movie. So the kid's 8, and that if you do the math, it's like he'd be 5. But they forgot. Or it's not Brendan Fraser's kid, and she had a 3-year-old in the very beginning of the movie.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, the second one's still pretty good.
What kind of role does The Rock play in that one, since he did get his own spin-off movie?
So in the second one, like it starts off telling you the story of the Scorpion King, and that he was like some badass warrior who then was eventually his armies were defeated, but then he made a deal with Anubis and became this immortal warrior, and took over everywhere, I guess. But then once he did everything, his deal with Anubis was up, so Anubis took away his armies and then trapped the Scorpion King. And then basically they're trying to they start doing some reincarnation shit that they didn't do in this first movie, where like Evelyn is actually the reincarnation of the Pharaoh's daughter, and there's just the chick he was trying to revive throughout the whole movie of the first one. She's just reincarnated now.
Oh.
She's just there, and like an old lady. So it's like, well, not old, but like, whatever the actress's age was. So it's like, so wait, this reincarnation was around for the first movie? Like I said, they didn't do a ton of thinking with the first movie. But anyways, yeah, they're trying to revive the mummy, so he can defeat the Scorpion King, and then get Anubis's army, and then they can take over the world.
Wonderful. Yeah, I don't think I even saw the second movie. I don't think I ever watched it.
It's like I said, it's not bad.
Either that, or I watched it on DVD after it came out when I was a kid, and I was distracted by something else while watching.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not as good as the first, but it's not bad. It's a lot of similar stuff as the first.
Well, yeah, I mean they bring back the entire cast, including Imhotep. And the lady, like I said, he was trying to resurrect. You see her a lot more now. Do you see her a lot more? You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, and not as you see her. You still see her as you saw her in the first one. That's as much as you see her. She's just in it more.
Yeah, that opening scene, I was like, "Oh damn! Am I watching the wrong version of the movie?" I wasn't expecting that much boobage and flesh out.
Yeah, they could. I don't know how they got away with that actually. I guess it's just body painted. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was the 90s too, so.
I was about to say it was the 90s, you guys.
It's PG-13. It's fine. Is it? Yeah, I think it's PG-13.
Yeah, I think it's.
Is it really?
It might just be PG. No, it's got to be
PG-13.
No, it's got.
Yeah, I was like, it's got to be PG-13.
PG-13. That's weird. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So the one scene when I was a kid that completely traumatized, that kind of went by for me during this watch, was the one where the scarab goes underneath his arm and it goes across his chest and it goes into his brain.
Yeah.
And he rams his head into the wall. That was nightmare fuel back in the day, and it's still kind of spooky, obviously. But that was the one thing that really spooked me out the movie when I was a kid, was the scarab going underneath the skin and crawling around. That was gross. Even to this day, it's still kind of gross, but it wasn't as bad because it's not really that great of an effect, but it works.
Traumatized me more than actual mummies.
Well, yeah, the mummies were just cool when I was a kid. Oh, look at that mummy with a sword and a shield. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Look at Brendan Fraser slicing through 5 of them at a time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, since you brought that up, Ray, how'd you do with this? What was the eek factor? Out of 10.
The ick factor was a 3 because the CGI was,
So
Not the
bad.
best. I found it comical, so not
Oh, that's
bad. Yeah.
Were you laughing with it or at it?
Yep.
good. Yep.
I think
Answer is
most,
yes.
I think most people would laugh with it. Like if we were doing like a watch together on a couch, right? Like everyone on the couch, I think we would be laughing along with the CG instead of laughing at the CG. Because as Tay said before, like yeah, it's the '90s. Like obviously, like how much better could they do? But
Yeah.
I mean, this came out 4 years after Toy Story 2.
hey,
So like that.
Woody looking a little bit different in this one, huh?
Yeah, no, it's like the progress from 95 to 99. It's pretty impressive.
Well, he also
Still not great.
It's
but
probably more like 98 that they started working on this, or maybe even 97 when they started working on the CG in this.
probably,
Like,
probably.
probably took them
yeah.
forever.
I thought Toy Story 2 came out in 99.
Nope, 95.
Toy Story 2 came out in 99, but the original
Yeah.
movie came out in 95.
Yeah.
Toy Story 1, which was the first fully CG movie.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like Toy Story 2 didn't come out in 95. First one did.
That's what I'm.
That's
what I
what he said.
right? Yeah, first one came out.
I
in
thought that
95.
he said the second one came out in 95 and I was confused.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, no, first one came out in 95.
Ignore me.
Okay.
Never. We'll just
There's
okay.
two types of people in this world.
Yeah, about to say we just got two different answers.
We'll just deafen Ray for the rest of the podcast then, on her request, of course.
Yeah.
Bye guys.
Bye.
Hope you find
Not-
your dad.
But not really.
The one scene that I did still find kind of impressive was because Brendan Fraser towards the end when he's fighting all the like mummy soldiers or the priests, they were like the priests who
Yeah.
came back as
Imhotep's
mummies.
priests.
They were like I thought that there was at least some of them that were like actual actors, but he actually was
Nope.
fighting nothing. And
Yeah.
there's a behind the
Yeah.
scenes
Wow.
thing that
He
I
did so
saw on
good.
YouTube where like you can watch it without the CG, and I was like, that's pretty impressive that he did all that without like
That
he
is
wasn't-
really
It wasn't
impressive.
bouncing off of anything. It was almost like
Running up and down the stairs, you know.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, no,
just fighting, just nothing, air.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job of. It's like I don't know if they planned out the fight scene beforehand or if they just like do your thing,
Yeah.
Brendan, and then we'll just put them where you
No,
are.
they definitely planned it because there were scenes
Yeah.
where like the mummy's head like came off and he was like holding it or whatever, and he hit it back
Oh no,
to
he,
him or whatever.
yeah, he like batted it back. Yeah,
Yeah, they definitely planned it out. Like it wasn't just like, all right, let's wing it. I don't think it would have gone too well in that case.
no, I don't think so either.
But that was like the coolest. Well, maybe not the coolest scene. I still think the wall of sand with the face coming out of it is still the coolest scene. But that was the one where he's fighting all the mummy guys at in the tomb area was also pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, in the second movie, there's a very similar scene, but instead of sand, it's water.
Oh
Ew.
shit! Let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah, I saw someone say on I think it was a Letterboxd review. They were like, "I love how Emotep's only ability is to like open his jaw like 10 times wider than it should be. Like, he doesn't really do much other than that."
Yeah. Hey, if it's effective, why change it?
Yeah, I mean, it worked for the most part. Even though like it really didn't do anything when he ate the plane in the sand phase. So it's like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, the
It is-
plane still
She kissed
the plane
her.
still went down, right? But it was like I thought like once you were bitten by that thing, like you would be like they would just combust, they would explode, right? Like oh my god. But no, they actually could still fly a little bit in there. They were actually
Yeah.
kind of okay, if not for maybe a
Yeah.
bit too much sand.
It had basically the same effect in the second one when it was water.
Oh, don't. Well, I mean, I guess the difference would be you could drown inside the water.
Yeah, except for like it's like you see the boat get hit and like it hits in a way I guess only the captain gets wet and the other three actors, you know, Evelyn, Brandon Fraser, and the brother, they're all fine. They're all dry. Can't get them wet.
I see.
Yeah, and then I mean then that still like makes the boat crash.
So it's like it's copy paste the same scene except with water. So
Yes, it is.
When did the second one come out?
Like 2001.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, basically, I guess Paramount the day the Mummy released, like the next morning, they called the director and like, we need a second one.
Oh my gosh.
Do it again.
Run it back, y'all.
I mean, yeah, I can see why they wanted it because this is it's a very fun, not really family friendly per se, but it's a very fun adventure.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones coded, but a bit more brutal, I guess. Well, I mean, even Indiana Jones has his brutal scenes, like with the Temple of Doom and stuff like that. So it's not even it's not even that different in that aspect. It's just maybe it's a bit more risque in the Mummy version, or in the Mummy rather than Indiana Jones. And there's no whip, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got guns.
Yeah, he's a gun.
He's an American. Well, I guess Indy's an American too, but
America.
What y'all think of the when the guy lost his eyes and they kind of like they did the same thing where they just kind of put the eye holes over where his eyes should have been and they didn't really move with him.
Yeah.
Like that scene's terrifying when you're a kid, but nowadays it's like, well,
that looks bad.
That's some nice Photoshop crop, cut and paste, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't even look. Yeah, it just didn't look good at all.
When he turned around, I was like, "Wait, what's wrong with him?" And then he said, "He was like, I can't see." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
never mind."
And they took my tongue. What? My tongue. Okay.
Did he take the tongue and the eyes from every character, or did he just suck the soul out of the other ones?
He just sucked the soul out of the other ones.
Also, the first guy he stole the eyes from needed glasses. Right?
Oh, I know.
He did the whole Velma Dinkley thing in the middle.
Yeah,
of
I was like, why were the eyes of the guy who can't see?
Well, I thought that was going to come into play. Like Imhotep is like, I can't really see too well. I need some glasses. Like, and that would have been how Brendan Fraser like gets the edge over him, maybe like in the first encounter. But no, he seems fine.
Yep.
That's what I mean. If I had written this, I would have written something in there. Like maybe he takes out his eyes and takes the other guy's eyes instead. He's like, "Fuck this shit." You know, I need better eyes.
Yeah.
Look with
you just see the Mummy King wearing glasses.
Yeah.
I totally would have Chekhov gunned it and been like, "Oh, well, I mean, this is a thing. We gotta make it a thing."
Yeah. And I thought they were because they kind of set it up in that way where he's wearing the glasses throughout the entire movie and then he loses them. And you've got that blurry scene where he sees Imhotep kind of like as a figure in the distance, and they were kind of going towards that, but then they just didn't roll with it.
Yeah.
What we could have had.
What we could have had, but
in the other dimension, this movie there's a Imhotep glasses scene.
Ooh. I want to go to this other dimension.
And the
not
glasses,
not just for the Mummy. There's a lot of reasons I want to go.
Well, I was gonna say it's a gag. Every time he opens his jaw 10 times wider, the glasses fall off, and he's like, "Oh, damn it!"
He has to push it up. It's up like on top of his nose. He has to push it back up towards his eyes,
like an anime villain.
Yeah.
Deleted scenes brought to you by Lens Crafters.
Yeah. I love the way you guys think.
Brought to you by LASIK. Better vision.
What'd y'all think of the 7 Plagues stuff? Because I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The boils and the whatever on the people at the end, and they got like brainwashed. What kind of sucks for that whole town? Like, oh my, like, goddamn. They were just kind of innocent bystanders there. The Mummy was just kind of there because Evelyn went there, right? So it's like, oh well, fuck. I guess we're drinking blood and we have boils on us now.
Leprosy.
What was the purpose of them? Because they didn't like kill or anything. I mean, they brought down the one character, and because he didn't go down into the sewer or the street.
Yeah, he kind of took himself.
He just kind of went down. I was like, "What's the purpose? Are they supposed to kill? They bite? They?"
Well, they ordered to kill, but they were very slow, like zombie-esque killers. They were kind of like the Resident Evil 4 villagers. Like they're kind of slow. They got weapons on them sometimes, you know. It's very
would have been cool to
Resident
see
Evil
him
4
like
coded.
eat them or something.
Well, I don't know if they didn't turn into. I mean, just because they had boils and stuff, they weren't zombies. They were just brainwashed by Emotep.
Yeah.
He was like, kill them, or however he says it in Egyptian, but.
Kill them.
Yeah, they were just brainwashed, and they obviously leave the story after that because once they get into the sewers, they kind of just escape. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought there were some nice like moments during that whole sequence where it's like the water turning into blood, or the whatever they were drinking turning to blood. Like the fountain just turns red, kind of cool. The meteorites coming from the sky, which I don't remember that being in the Bible, but hey, let's just write it in there.
It'll be fine. Everyone
And
remembers that part.
asteroids will fall from the sky. Yeah, I wasn't sure why they brought back the plagues for Emotep though. Like, I guess okay. I'm now just realizing they said that he was like the master of plagues when they buried him. So never mind.
Yeah.
Cut that out. But then again, that also brings up the point. Like, why would you bury this guy alive and put a curse on him that allows him to be immortal? Is it
So? I will ask the same thing and kind of did a little digging, and I guess there's a novelization of the book that explains it a little better. They did it because he was, if long as no one dug him up, he would be suffering for eternity.
Interesting.
Because the scarabs would like eat his flesh, and then
as it
he
regrew.
would, yeah, and then it would regrow, and then so he'd be in suffering and pain the whole time. So that's why. Like I said, yeah, I wondered the same thing. I was like, why would you do this?
Well, same thing with the Scorpion King. Apparently, they allowed him to be immortal too after they got.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was a god who did that.
Oh,
so.
okay. Well, yeah. But yeah, that I guess maybe they could have made it a bit more clear as to why they were doing that. Because it just seems kind of silly. Like, the guy who killed our king and touched his wife. Let's keep him alive for eternity.
Yeah.
I mean, he did have to wait like 3,000 years, so it probably was a pretty boring existence there for quite some time.
Boring and painful.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually they had to know, like, oh well, there's gonna be someone who is a daring adventurer who wants the gold.
Well, that's why the guard, the Pharaoh's guard's descendants kept guarding it.
That's right.
Not that they did a good job.
No, yeah, they did a terrible job.
Not at all.
They allowed, like, in that initial scene where they're like killing all the workers. It's like, why are you letting them stay for an extra day? Do you not understand that these people are crazy? They're out of their minds. They even have like the death book in their possession at that point, right?
I think so.
And like that night after the workers all like die, she starts reading the fucking book. It's like you could have solved this very quickly.
Yeah.
I also find it kind of funny that they put the books in the wrong place. Like the life book was supposed to be above him, and the death book was supposed to be somewhere else. It's like, oops, that's a bit of a fumble there.
Oopsie doodle. And what's funny is in the second one, they like the Pharaoh guard. In the first movie, you go, oh, it's like a small sect of maybe 70 guys or 30 guys or 12 guys or however many. In the movie, they're a fucking army.
Of course.
And you're like, where was this army when Emotep was, coming back to life?
Yeah, they were on break.
It's like coffee break.
They're on and off again for like 10-year periods, right? So the first 10 years
Gotcha.
they're awake. Next.
Of course. I forgot. My bad.
Silly Tay.
So, let's talk about the Benny in the room. Because they started off and you initially kind of don't like him because he runs away from Rick as the battle's starting. But this guy is like a slimy little bastard throughout the entire movie. Like, he's the perfect like evil underling. I mean, he's not even like. Obviously, he works for Emotep for a while, but he's more like Benny is the guy he's in for the gold, as we already discussed. And he's just a slimy little guy. I love him though. Like I love his character. I love his demeanor. I love his like the way he goes about things. And I think he gets the perfect comeuppance where he gets trapped in that room with all the gold, and like he's gonna be eaten by the scarabs at that point, but his light goes out. It's a very nice end. Well, I mean, not a nice end, but it's a good end for his character, who has been just like really a bastard the entire movie.
Yeah.
Very satisfying.
Very satisfying.
You're on the wrong side of the river.
I love that. That's a meme now.
Goodbye, Benny. God, and the fucking quips in this movie too. Like, apologize for swearing so much, but goddamn, this movie makes me so happy. Like at times, because like the quips are so funny in this movie. Like, I loved the Brendan Fraser's line delivery is A+ in this movie. Like, he does he sells it. Like, he knows that's campy. The movie knows that's campy, and they just go with it. And it works so well. It's so funny at times.
Yeah. So I talking about Benny though. So that scene where he's like trying to get the camel. Also, why are the camels there?
Because they rode them in.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. Brendan Fraser and his group did.
Did they?
Yeah.
I swear the
Americans
flew
got
in
the
at that
point. And the
No, I'm talking the very end, like where they flew in. Right.
Oh, the camels were already there though. They never.
Yeah,
left.
they were at a new location, I thought, and like the camels had saddles and everything, and I was like, why? Anyways, that's not the point. Benny, like, he starts tugging on the camel won't move. That wasn't scripted or anything. It turns out it's just the camels really hated that actor.
Hey, they knew.
They knew.
I knew.
And I just thought that was perfect because it was like, yeah, Benny is a sleazeball. I don't know if his actor's a sleazeball, but
I didn't look anything up about him. He probably didn't do well. I'll look it up right now. He was Kevin. Hey, the actor's name is Kevin O'Connor. Very close to Rick O'Connell.
yeah.
Interesting.
He was in quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Actually.
I thought I remember looking. He was in quite a lot. But...
Oh man, he was in The Love Bug. Let's go. I mean, he wasn't in like a lot of good things, but he was in a lot. There's a fair amount of slop in here, I will be honest. But he did have a pretty big career. He's still alive. So we need to bring him back. Bring him back for another sleazeball role. Come on.
Write a letter.
Dear Hollywood.
Yeah, dear Hollywood, we need to bring Benny back for the next Mummy movie. How? Just revive him like he did with Emotep twice.
Right? Yeah. It's easy.
Get a pair of fibs, all good. I seen it in video games. It's happened.
Yeah, it works.
You could write it in that he shared the curse, and because he was an underling of him for so long. They actually did a blood pact in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of that scene where he's going through all the different religions and like
Yes.
that's just perfect. It's just such a perfect scene. Going through all the different religions and going through all the different like scriptures. Starts with he definitely starts with like Christian or Catholic, and then he goes to like I think Buddhism or Taoism or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Jewish.
Yeah, he goes. That works so well though. Like he has all the necklaces on too, so he's just kind of like fumbling through them like keys.
Yeah, no, I love that scene.
Encapsulates his character perfectly.
Yep.
I don't really have much else to say. I did have something that I want to bring up, but I forgot what it was. So maybe it'll come back to me in a minute. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that kind of slips my mind.
Have we come back when we're doing our reviews?
Yeah, of course. But anyone else have anything want to bring up about The Mummy? Wait, I'm remembering. I wanted to say,
Mummy.
Don't watch the new Mummy movie from like 2000 whatever.
Oh yeah.
Definitely do not. But do watch the trailer that the film studio accidentally released that did not have any of the special effect noises or score in it. It's just Tom Cruise making noises and talking.
That's great.
Look that one up. I don't remember what it's called, but if you look up the Mummy from like 2000 or whatever, 2016,
I think is when it came out. Yeah.
It should pop up.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
Trailer without music. There it is.
Yeah. If you can just post that in our little group chat,
I think
I'll
this
watch.
is it.
I'll watch it after for sure.
Oh, there it is. On the podcast, we'll hear it. But yeah, it's just them making like all the grunts and like the but there's no music and there's no sound effects at all. So, but yeah, that was actually uploaded to, like, I think it's Sony that was behind this one.
Of course it was.
The Sony like YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I think it was up for quite a long time before they took it down and re-uploaded the right one. And also, this is a good place to bring up that they try to do like a dark cinematic universe with all the different classic characters, like Mummy.
Which means it was Paramount. I think it was
Oh, it
Paramount.
was Paramount. Okay.
Because they own the rights to the monsters.
But yeah, there was supposed to be. Let's see. So there was the Mummy movie, which came out in 2017 with Tom Cruise, and they had John Goodman in there, right? Who was supposed, or was it Russell Crowe?
No, Russell Crowe was supposed to be Frankenstein's monster.
No,
or
Russell Crowe was
Dr.
Jekyll
Frankenstein.
and Hyde.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But he was
No,
like
you're
the
right.
leader of this like dark cinematic universe tie-in thing that they put into the middle of it. And I think they already had lit like I forget what the next one was supposed to be. It was either the Invisible Man was supposed to tie in or like Frankenstein or something like that. What ended up happening was the Invisible Man did not tie into anything with the dark. They I think they took all that stuff out of it because they were like, oh, this is gonna fail right away. No one wanted it. And that's just the movie itself was just so bad that I think it immediately sunk the idea of a monster movie universe. But also, like, who really wanted that? I mean, it's like Marvel does it good and everyone else tries and no one else gets there in the end. Mm-hmm. DC tried. Yeah. All the movies sucked. Well, not all of them, but most of the movies sucked in that universe. This Dark Pictures cinematic, they tried the first movie was such a failure that they canceled everything else and said, "Yep, that's enough of that." There's so many different movie studios and things that try to do this whole cinematic thing, but it only worked once, and it's not really. I mean, it's still going for Marvel, but it's definitely slowed down at this point.
Well, and like the reason it worked for Marvel is because they did the legwork and set it up slowly, and everyone else was just like, "Oh, well, we'll just jump in."
Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah, it worked. And it worked because they knew it. Like
took their time.
They took their time and set everything up.
Yeah. But yeah. So watch the 1999 movie. It's still fun. It's campy. It doesn't have great special effects, obviously, but it's still worth a watch for sure. And
I would have to agree.
Apparently, The Mummy Returns is also worth a watch as well.
Yeah,
but don't watch The Scorpion King. None of us has seen the third one or the fourth one. I guess it's technically the fourth one. So we'll leave that
the
one
third
up to
one.
debate.
Oh yeah, I've only seen the first one. Yeah.
I never saw Scorpion King either.
Yeah, I don't know if you need. I mean, maybe watch that as to laugh at it.
Yeah.
It looks like The Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor is sitting at a 2.2 on Letterboxd here, so it must be a real good one.
Let's go.
That's something.
Well, let's go ahead and get started with our final thoughts and rating. But first, Greedy Waffles needs to tell us if this was a good recommendation for him.
No, we have to wait until after the ratings.
Yeah, Yemmy.
He's taking over the podcast, folks.
That's how we do it with Cows.
It's his thing.
All right,
we'll do it for after. Cows, we did it after the ratings.
Well, I was changing it up.
Okay, I give it.
How dare you?
I thought it would fit
like
better,
what is it? A rating out of 5?
No, we'll wait till after.
No, is it rating out of 5?
Apparently, you don't even remember how it works, so I'll explain it after all this. So I'll go.
I think
I'll
it was
start
a
here.
grade of
I'll
five.
no, it was a yes or no. If it
No.
was a good recommendation. But yes, The Mummy from 1999. I found it to be very enjoyable. Still, obviously, the CG is atrocious at times. It did take me out of the movie a bit because I was more so like, oh wow, that's just like terrible looking. So it did take me out a little bit, but it's still a very fun time. Lots of great line delivery, lots of good action. Lots of good action in there. Good story. Some spooky moments with like the scarab going underneath the arm and stuff like that, the skin. Still pretty good to this day. Brendan Fraser obviously acting his heart out, very good, and everyone else did a good job as well, like Benny and Evelyn and stuff like that. Everyone did a good job, and I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Let's go. Yeah, I agree. Everything, acting was good. Brendan Fraser is beautiful. Other actors were great. CGI, yeah, a little rough around the edges, but it made me laugh. It was one. It didn't age well, but it's one of those funny. It didn't age well kind of things. Definitely a good, introduction into the series. Acting, like I said, was great because, like Yemmy said, the mummies weren't actually there, so they kind of had to do, air battles like Brendan Fraser had to. I believe, yeah, and also, Brendan Fraser kind of, still, I think he didn't like kind of fit into the theme, or seemed a little too clean. Some shots, but I still enjoyed the movie. It was still a fun watch. I'll also give it a 4 out of 5.
Sure. Yeah. Good. Good. I agree with everything. The CGI didn't take me out too much, just because I expected it to, be bad. I guess. I knew it wasn't great. Yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed it, and I will also give it a 4 out of 5.
So,
Very nice. Well, going into it, did not expect it to be so campy and fun and all that good stuff. So that was relieving. CGI, we've already, touched on that quite a bit. And I honestly thought that it was going to be a little bit better CGI, but can't really expect much from the 90s. So I was going to give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Well, alrighty then.
alrighty.
Okay, so now it's time for Greedy to tell us if this was a good recommendation for him or not.
It was, yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's go. Score 1 for me. Going into it, did you know it was going to be a good recommendation, or were you just like, well,
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the movie before, and I, enjoyed it. But it was a good rewatch. I haven't seen it in a while. It was a good rewatch, and so it was a good one. Yes.
hey, alright.
And of course,
Well done.
any movie that has Brendan Fraser, and you're already gonna like.
All right, Ray and Tay, write that down. Write that down.
I've already got my pick for what I'm doing.
I can't remember what I gave it in Encino Man though. I think I gave it a decent review.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think I gave that one a 4 as well.
No,
Yeah. See, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
we're in the part of the show where we do any small recommendations, just a little something to say, hey, maybe check this out. You might like this, or maybe you have a anti-recommendation. We've been doing that as well. Does anyone have any small recommendations?
I do. Opposite of what Ray said, watch Squid Game season 2. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I didn't like the ending, but the last episode was good. But the ending, you're just like, ugh. But it was a good watch. I mean, they kind of stuck with the same, theme, but they switched it up just enough where I liked it. So definitely watch it.
Well, all right.
It's only 7 episodes long, which is kind of weird, but
It's a bit odd,
Huh.
a bit short.
How long are the episodes?
they're hour, 30 minutes, hour.
Yeah, I think they're like
Not
they
30,
range
they're
between
definitely
like
not 30.
40 an hour.
Yeah, I think they're an hour.
The first episode I think was a little bit longer, but that's kind of par for the course on
Yeah.
series.
I'll say-
Yeah.
Nowadays, like, shows don't have to adhere, especially if they're streaming shows, they don't have to adhere to a strict time frame. Back in
Yeah.
the day, TV shows were always 22 minutes long, with then commercial breaks made it a half hour, and
Yeah.
But I will
For
say
these-
it's not better than season 1. But it's still season 2 is still good.
Well, all right. My
Um,
small recommendation was a game that I'm actually playing right now, and it's just been fantastic. And I don't know why it took me this long to play it, but it's Red Dead Redemption 2, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played either of those. I hear good things. I need to.
Yeah, the second game, it's a bit
I need-
overwhelming at the start because there's a lot more systems going on than the first one, but it all really comes together quite well, and you get used to the core management and all that stuff pretty quickly. They ease you into it almost, and the story is phenomenal. The gameplay is great. The side stuff you can do is all really good too. So I don't think I'm close to the end yet, but I feel like we're getting there because the story does seem to be going. It does seem to be crescendoing a lot, and there's a lot of really good story beats too, and a lot of surprises in there. We had a main character die 2 streams ago that made my jaw drop. I was like, "What? They know?" It's just you get invested, and they did a good job of making it feel as close to life as you can in the Old West. So very good. Definitely recommend that. I mean, that's obviously this is no surprise to anyone that it's a good game. I think most people know.
Yeah. My small recommendation is getting a fitness app. It's called Fit On, and it's like all one word, but
Not
they're
sponsored.
not sponsored. Sorry. It has like free workouts on it and different intensities, and it's been really cool and makes me happy. So,
All at home workouts, or like
Yeah.
you can.
I mean, you can probably take them to the gym too. I think there are like treadmill workouts and then like ones that require weights and all that good stuff.
Cool.
What was it again?
Fit On, FITON. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Greedy. It is your turn to recommend a movie for yourself.
Hey.
What do you got for us?
So I need a number, 1 or 2.
Oh,
Here
no.
we go again. I'm gonna say
No,
2.
I'm no.
All right.
I was saying 2.
All right, so good, because the first one I know we've all seen. I don't know if we all seen the one that I actually want to watch. And this was
Oh,
a
yeah, pick the one you want to watch.
favorite
then.
of mine as a childhood, and I think it's underrated. I don't think many people seen it, but
Yeah,
I'm sure we've definitely seen it here. So my recommendation is The Iron Giant from 1999.
Oh my gosh.
What's the word I'm looking for? Like title description doesn't really sound right, but a young boy befriends a giant robot from outer space that a paranoid government agent wants to destroy.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds that caps. Yeah.
Director Brad Bird, some writers Tim McConley's, Brad Bird, Ted Hugh, all voice actors, but some of the stars in here. Vin Diesel, which I actually did not know he was in here. Jennifer Aniston.
He's the voice of the Iron Giant.
Yeah. James Gammon, John Mahoney, Harry Connick Jr. So some big names in here.
This movie healed me. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen it since a kid. So, and I always felt like growing up, it was like underrated.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. You know what they say. It's either gonna hit home or be a swing and a miss.
Well, I feel like
But I
this
don't
has a
think
good
this one
chance
will.
of being a swing. A hit. I mean, not swing. This has been on my rewatch list since we started the podcast, so finally get to check this one off. And it's from 1999, the same year as The Mummy. So.
And we can relate or compare.
And I have a very fun story for this one, which I will wait until next episode. So.
Well, you better write it down, so don't forget about it.
I won't forget. This is something that's stuck with me since I watched it. So. And if you want to check it out, it's on Amazon, Apple TV, YouTube, etc.
Paramount Plus, yeah.
Yeah, Paramount Plus as well. Yeah, that's probably
Best place to watch it.
So yeah, if you want to check it out, there are your places to do so. The Iron Giant. And if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you want to join the conversation, make sure you swing back around for the podcast. We release these every 2 weeks, and we hope to see you there. And
If
also,
Kay
thank
hates
you.
this movie, I don't know what else I'm gonna do.
Oh, I know. I love this movie.
All right.
Tis a good one.
What were you saying? Yemmy?
Oh, yeah, of course, we appreciate everyone for listening to the podcast. Make sure you rate it on Spotify and review it on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you leave a like on YouTube. Gotta do all that good stuff. Or if you don't want to, it's fine. I'm not going to force anyone to do anything. And, yeah, that's about it. Does anyone else have anything they want to say before we end the show?
You guys want to know what the first movie was I thought of?
Yeah, I
Sure.
do actually.
Yeah, because we won't
Mummy
get to
2.
find
No,
out.
I'm kidding. It was The Dark Knight, so I feel like...
Oh,
we already watched
another
Dark
great
Knight.
one.
Yeah, we were.
Did we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like
All right,
that
good
was
thing I didn't make it
Coco's or Lucy's first movie, I thought. Or well, I think it was like her third one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
Good
definitely
thing I didn't pick it.
because me and her watched like the entire trilogy and reviewed the entire trilogy also through
Oh,
that
wow.
episode.
I now remember that.
Yeah, it's a good thing. That would have been very controversial. Our first rewatch.
I mean, eventually we're gonna have to rewatch, right? No, there's so many movies.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
so many movies.
Well, all right. Thank you all for listening. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with.
Gritty Waffles.
Say Mation.
Ray of positivity.
And we are Film Freaks with a Z. Thank you for listening. So long. Goodbye, Benny.
Goodbye.
Bye, Benny.
Bye.